Hey guys, welcome to Movie Reviews. In this review, we are reviewing Tom Clancy's Without Remorse, which is a film about Tom Clancy's second most famous character, John Kelly. Everybody knows Jack Ryan, right? And he's created sort of the Ryan verse, which John Kelly is actually a part of. So in the film Without Remorse, based on the 1993 book Without Remorse, we get his backstory. So this one kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, Amazon was pretty excited about it, right? They wanted us to watch it, check it out.
It was supposed to come out in September of last year, and then it got pushed to October, and then it got pushed again, and they had all of these movies just get slid down, so now it's an Amazon release.
Yeah.
Well, they got some free time after the games.
Oh, yeah, they don't.
Well, let's make movies now.
Yeah. So how actually talking about games, the John Kelly character and the Without Remorse series eventually go on to Rainbow Six, and that's the book that you guys should know the name of that for a very famous, a very famous video game franchise that I grew up with, a more tactical shooter that you can't just run around. You had to play it realistic.
Faces on there.
Yeah. So this is sort of the beginning of that Rainbow Six series, because as John eventually becomes a part of Rainbow Six and leads Rainbow Six, but this is his backstory. And it came out of nowhere, right? But like Alex was saying, it was delayed due to the pandemic. But honestly, I enjoyed it very much. So let's just jump right into the review. No sponsors, other than actually we have brand new shirts. We are our sponsors. If you like our stuff, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. We have a Patreon if you'd like to support us. And we have merch, and we're debuting. Here, let me take off all my Tom Clancy's tactical gear here to show you the new Angry Army merchandise. That's right. You can be a part of the First Division. I like black and red, so we have some new shirts for you. Go check it out downstairs from our partner Chad at Rogues Apparel. So he does great shirts. The material feels so nice. So let's just jump right into the film. I know how I feel about it.
I did enjoy it. It was on Amazon, but it had its problems. I was kind of conflicted on the third act.
Yeah.
But overall, it was still a good watch.
Yeah, I was really, really liking it when it first started, right? It's shot well. It's acted well. It's got great realistic action. Of course, over the top, military style where, and it's got some good set piece scenes. We get a fucking plane crash into the water and you get the camera work on the inside. It looks expensive. It looks like a Hollywood budget thing. So Amazon went all out with this. In fact, they signed on for 2. So
yeah, Rainbow Six is coming next.
Rainbow Six is the sequel to this. It's just been delayed. So I'm very excited for Rainbow Six. We get a little bit of an origin story here. What did you think, Alex?
I thought it was pretty good. There was some issues in the transitioning between the different acts. I didn't know if they were. It's a revenge movie, right? And I didn't know if it was going into like a John Wick style super murder thing. But it kept the slow burn thing for a really long time. And the longer you go in the slow burn, it's like, okay, well, then we really have to nail the ending. And they did an okay job with the ending, but I enjoyed it. I think it's definitely worth watching. It's a streaming action movie. We've seen a lot of them. This is better than most of them for sure. So
Does any of you remember the action movie that Netflix did with the Thor guy?
No, I didn't watch
Extraction or something. Me and Joe really enjoyed it for the action and gunplay. This is basically, think of this as Amazon's Extraction, right? It should, really great gunplay, stuff like this. But this one's more intrigue. Extraction is like full-on action the whole time.
Shady government.
Right. So, this is Tom Clancy. It's Tom Clancy's motif here. You got your special operations, SEALs. We got some SEALs here. In fact, I was like, what is this? Is this Army? Is this spec like Delta SEALs? I didn't know. Because there's a female SEAL in there. I was like, wait, I didn't know there were female SEALs. Apparently there are. Female SEALs, they opened up the program and offered it in 2016. but actually one did not make it until December 2019. So a female actually made through the 24-week grueling training. Of course, they don't reveal who it is because you don't want to be putting everybody on blast if you're in the SEALs. But I thought that was pretty cool. So they have one female SEAL here. So I was like, that's pretty cool. Good close combat, fight scenes. Tom Clancy loves to involve Russia, so we got some Russian intrigue in here, and a great house battle against paramilitary forces and police, all sorts of good stuff. So the action delivered. And the first few acts were going really well, and then I don't know, it just kind of the pacing in the ending, it just kind of ends, and you're like, okay, they should have done more setting up of Rainbow Six.
Yeah,
you know
something, because like at the end I'm like, okay, well, those movies, good time.
Yeah. It's one of the it's shot well, acted well, good action, but
I needed more oomph.
Yeah, ultimately forgettable. I think one of the better parts is Michael B. Jordan's performance. The dude is fucking jacked in everything he's doing. And it's funny because just today, he finally commented on Superman. Of course, I got to bring up my Superman. He was like,
find a way.
Yeah, he was like, I'm not gonna get too much into that, but I think it would be a cool creative take on the character. So he's heard about the people wanting him to play Superman, or the studios maybe working on something. I'd be for it, so as long as we get more Henry Cavill, there's no reason not to have multiple Superman up in here. Anyway, so he's basically in Superman shape in this film because he is a damn good operative.
He's the badass.
Reminds me a little bit of John Wick at the beginning because you get some home invasion stuff, you get some silenced gunplay. So everything that you could want in the action, but where do you think it falters?
Some of the story.
Yeah.
I think also like we were talking about, the pacing, like middle act was kind of like drawn out. It's like, all right, we kind of know where it's going. Can we kind of speed this up and see some more? The action, because it's basically what we were there for.
And it's rough for them because if you are familiar with the book, which I'm not, I love Tom Clancy novels. I've read a couple.
I actually haven't read a single one.
Really? Right? Yeah, you should. I'll loan you some.
This one is 93.
This one has nothing to do with the novel almost whatsoever.
Really?
Only in name. Like the first one is.
It's his backstory.
It's his backstory, but like his wife dies in a car accident, and then he starts dating a prostitute, and then it's him in a war against pimps and drug lords in Baltimore. Plus, he does a weird trip to Vietnam. But it's
shit, you read it.
I was going through it. I was like, man, do I want to read this one? It's like, no, I don't want to read this one. So really, they don't have a lot of source material to go through. Like they know that this is how John Kelly turns into John Clark, and I know a lot about John Clark because he's in every one of the other things. Anytime Jack Ryan shows up, John Clark's not too far behind.
That's cool.
So they kind of. You can tell that they had issue. They the beginning part was solid. They've got a lot of you can watch John Wick and you can see that he loses his family. The problem is it's getting going and getting through that middle slog of all right. He wants to go on. He wants to do the revenge thing, and then they dabble in the intrigue phase for way too long, and it could have been sped up. You could have cut out a couple of unnecessary scenes. And I don't know. I mean, this is the Sicario director, so he's done this kind of stuff before. It just didn't feel as good as he's done in the past. Yeah,
and as we know, Amazon owns the rights to Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan. It's a series I haven't watched with the guy from The Office, but who is a really good action actor, Jim. Yeah, because he's done some military movies before he did Jack Ryan. So I'm interested to see, are they trying? I mean, are they doing a Ryan verse? Not. It doesn't seem like it from from what we just watched because they don't mention Jack at all. They don't do any of that. They don't talk about that.
No teasers.
There's no teasers or anything like that. But yeah, they own both the rights. So in the future, if it's successful, maybe we will see these two in the same film. I'm not sure if they've crossed over and worked together a ton in the novels, but I know that.
Oh yeah, they're always because like Jack Ryan's the paper.
Oh, like you
the
said, he's
paper-
always not far behind.
He's like his favorite agent. He's like, I need something done. I'm the analyst. You go murder people.
Okay, so then this was probably before Jack Ryan was really a superstar because this is detailing his history. So, but to choose a younger guy like Michael B. Jordan, it's like, oh man, are you gonna do multiple films with him? They are.
There's a
Rainbow
lot of
Six
there's
is
a lot
one.
of books you can do.
That's
Yeah.
the
But we'll
plan.
see. I mean, like you were telling me before, he was played by William Dafoe,
Liev Schreiber.
Schreiber before. So Michael B. Jordan is the latest to play the character, and yeah, it's a great action. We can go over more in the spoiler section to see kind of the plot points. But what I would say is, if you have Amazon Prime, it's check it out, watch it. There's no reason not to. It's very, very solid.
Because you already paid for it.
Yeah, I honestly, if I was in the mood for gunfire and action, those first 2 acts, I was already thinking I would pay for this. I would pay for this. It's just that third act that gets a little. There's some action there, but it just kind of cuts. It just cuts off, and I'm like, huh, okay. Well, I expected a tiny bit more there, but all right. So
Same.
let's go to the final verdicts.
Final verdict for me is going to be a 7. I did enjoy this, but like some of the pacing, and I'll explain more in the third act, which kind of left me conflicted. I was like, wait, this is not right. But overall, it's still pretty good. I liked it. Great acting by Michael B. Jordan. 7 for me.
Extremely good acting, I think, from him.
Oh,
You
he's-
really
yeah.
feel his dangerousness, his out of control, because what? Let's talk about
Oh, he's, yeah,
spoilers.
he's, can't really say much.
I did like this. I think it's an above average action flick. I love these political intrigue movies. I just don't think that this rises up to the ones that like Clear and Present Danger and some of those other ones that came a while like before. I'm gonna go with a 6. Above average. It's good. If you got Amazon Prime, no reason to not check this out. I just think it really suffered in the middle portion of the movie and a little bit of a lack of coherency towards the end, where I thought the movie was about to end, and then it kind of kept going, and then I was going to end. It's like, oh, it kept going again, and it just didn't feel as well put together as it should be. So still worth a watch.
Right. If you said, because it's not based on it is based on the novel, but it doesn't follow the novel exactly.
Nothing at all. They're not the same at all.
So we
Completely
can't
different.
critique it in the sense that the pacing feels off. Like kind of they're making stuff up, in order
And
to
then-
get it.
It's like, and
to
then
get-
what?
And it's like, well, if you're gonna make it up, then make it up in a more satisfying, pacing way. But anyways, ultimately, it does satisfy that action itch. You said 7 and
6.
6. I'm gonna go with 7. I think 7 is where it's at. I liked it a little better. Because you don't often see some of the scenes
Extraction
there.
for me was better than.
Yeah. With constant pumping
All right, I'll have to
action.
watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch it. I'm hoping Rainbow Six though. I'm like ready.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now we got him set up. We got his backstory out of the way. Let's see what's going on with Rainbow Six here. And is Amazon setting up a Ryan verse? Will we eventually see that? So yeah, that's it. A much delayed film, but a film that Amazon is kind of proud of and wants people to see. I'd say go check it out. Okay, so we'll go into spoiler discussion right now for those of you who have already seen it. If not, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Hey guys, welcome to the spoiler section. So standard kind of thing, right? You get you're going. They're in Aleppo. They're doing a special ops mission where they're extracting some. What was it? Ukrainian, a
There's
different
supposed
type
to
of
be some other terrorist, or
adjacent
something.
ally guy they're extracting, but they realize that
They're
is
not Syrians after all. These are
Yeah.
Russian military.
right. So they're actually fighting. They think they're going up against adjacent, maybe paramilitary forces, but no, they're fighting Russians and they're killing Russians, and so this could be a very obviously volatile thing. And they extract a guy, but the Russians get fucking pissed off that you killed a bunch of their guys, so they're going to kill a bunch of Americans. So in you know, and then you've got this sort of asshole fucking lieutenant guy who seems to be in charge of these things. He's like, hey, man, that's war, man, because he wants to leave behind
You knew
people.
about
He's a
this.
CIA guy.
And
Yeah, he doesn't care about
you
anything.
knew about this fucking operation, that these are actual Russians. And
Doesn't matter.
Whatever. So you hate this guy. And I
Yeah.
think they did a really good job at me fucking hating this pinhead. I wanted him dead, or I wanted revenge
him.
on him. But I think the best part of the film is it turns out that, you know, that guy, he's just a fucking asshole. But then he kind of, you know, over the course of it turns into an ally, because he wasn't, basically setting them up later on in the film, and he actually ends up helping them. So that was kind of cool. But anyway, so, you know, they're fighting in there. The fight scenes are great. They got RPGs. They got, huge cans on their assault rifles. So cool, unique sound. But when they get back to the U.S., all of his friends are getting killed in brutal ways.
And this is when the movie is firing on all cylinders.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
like, oh,
really
shit.
cool. Things are setting everything up.
Pacing is perfect.
And then we get into this amazing home invasion scene, and it's like, oh, this is
Well,
also
his friends,
really cool.
his friends die. One gets run over in a brutal fashion, and we're like, oh, fuck, that sucks, man. You're just taking out the trash. And it makes you realize how
Garbage
helpless.
day.
Makes you realize how helpless. It don't matter how fucking Navy SEAL, how fucking special ops you are. If you have a targeted for assassination, you're probably going down, and you're never gonna see it coming.
Yeah.
The guy gets run over. Another dude stuck in traffic. Van door opens, like before he even has a chance to react. He's like, "What the fuck?" And it's over. Luckily, Michael B. Jordan's character, John Clark, is in his house, and his wife goes, you know, she's upstairs going to bed, and she's like, don't stay up too late listening to music.
She has to get up early.
Right, she has to get over. So he's downstairs listening to music, and we thought, here comes the assassination team, cuts his power, and we thought maybe, Spotify would.
His modem's gonna be
his
missing.
modem is like
It's
a
gone.
lost connection,
Yeah.
something very modern, right? But it's more 90s what happens.
The
is-
laptop battery ran out or
It
something.
happens.
It's just like,
right at
It
that
happens to
moment.
Alex.
yeah, well, I used to with really old laptops, the batteries go bad if you unplug them. They don't charge anymore. But it's like, yeah, it needed to be updated. It needed to be written by someone.
Something quicker, because there is a elite Russian force
weren't Russian.
on U.S. soil.
They were going very slow.
No, they were Russian, and an elite force. Okay,
I like it. I like it. Come on.
okay. So they go in, but they're taking so much time that he's able to go downstairs, get his gun. So they little plot armor here. But you know, they're upset. One part, you know, I didn't quite get until later on is they kill themselves. Like one guy's like, okay, I am ready, and then he shoots one of the assassins who's in here. He's like, why are you
Knew the
shooting
mission.
each other?
Yeah.
I don't get it. And these guys are fucking patriotic. So you have patriotic people
And
on
that's
the
what I like.
U.S.
I was like,
side.
why
You have
do that? You
patriotic
find out
people on
later
the
on, it's like, that was
why the
cool.
fuck would you do that?
Yeah.
And it's because like they're trying to. They're just following orders. They believe in this thing where
I
it's
need you
like
to leave a body.
let's get these two countries to heighten tensions and potentially go to war because we need a bad guy essentially because. It makes a good point that right now we're just fighting each other, you know, in terms of blue versus red, that kind of stuff, and they wanted to give the American public a bad guy, and so they were trying to create a fucking war, but they done fucked up and ended up killing John Clark's wife
Kelly.
in the prom, John Kelly, who
Kelly
becomes
first, then
Clark.
Yes.
Pam, and he makes all the bad guys say Pam before he murders them. He is fucking pissed. So he goes all John Wick on the motherfucking people invading. But what more realistic than John Wick, in my opinion, because you have,
It's
he
not
takes
hard to
fucking
be more
bullets.
realistic than John Wick. I mean,
Right. But and I kind of like it from that military perspective. He takes a few hits. He goes down because it's like, dude, at that fucking close range, if you're in the same goddamn room and you have a pistol, you're gonna fucking hit your target. And the last guy that he finds is in the same room, and they're popping each other. I'm like, oh fuck, we're moving over. Yeah. Well, no, because he takes the bullets, and then the guy slowly gets up and takes off, and he's got a beard, and he looks kind of American, but you're like, what? I don't understand. Later on, they find out they're Russians, but there's something in there that doesn't make sense. And and they go to, he wants this revenge. They were FSBs, obviously Russians, and he basically manages to find information on who did this via one of the Russian consulates or something like that. Where it's another visceral scene where this guy's unhinged and he learns the guy's name and he goes over there at the airport, very cleverly uses the paranoia of the police to pull somebody over to do a little distraction while he rams the car of this guy before he's able to get to the airport, lights the whole thing on fire, jumps in the fucking car with him, pulls out his sidearm and is pointing it at the guy. And, this guy, I think, is more visceral than Jack Ryan. He probably has a little bit more anger in him, because of something that just recently happened to him.
He's not thinking about anything. And so I thought that
he just wants to die, essentially, but gets revenge for his wife because his wife was pregnant when I forgot to say, in the home invasion, they murder his wife.
Yeah.
I thought they were going law-abiding citizen style where, he's going through revenge and he's going to do things the right way. And he's on a suicide mission. And it kind of shocked me a little bit. I don't know if it was my expectations were in the right place, but I was almost disappointed at this scene where he's going to get caught and he's going to go to jail and probably die in prison. Yeah, and it's like, why?
It's a little too reckless kind of thing. He is really, really counting on, his militaries when he comes out of the car that's burning because he gets a name, shoots the guy, comes out. I'm military, I think he says. But that don't fucking matter. You're going to jail, and he's a felon now.
He just went haywire. Put him in jail.
And the powers that be put him in a Russian, controlled jail where even the officers have some ties to Russian mob, the fucking prisoners. And that's another great scene where it's like, all right, turn around, put your head against the wall. And he's like, what for? You going for a little trip? And he knows, they're going to fucking kill me. And so, he's all, getting one of his shirts together. You're like, what is he doing? Like, how do you fight a goddamn, a bunch of police officers in a small room? He turns on his water, wets his shirt, wets his body down, makes the water on the thing. And he's like, all right, let's go. This was like, again, running on all cylinders. First and second act here. All the fucking riot gear officers come charging in. And
straight out of Bronson. Did you ever see Bronson?
Yes.
I did not see
Bronson's great. It's Tom Hardy playing a dude who's been in solitary confinement for like 50 years, but he's jacked, and he gets his room invaded all the time. And there's scenes where he does stuff like that. He butters himself up so they can't grab onto him. He gets completely naked. And I was like, oh, man, how far are they going to go with this? So.
Yeah, I thought it was cool as hell. That's even more.
Butter me up.
But, then you have the U.S. Marshals show up just at that moment. A little unrealistic, but they save his ass, and that's when they pull him on and tell him about what's going on. He can ID the person. They need to know that. And he goes on this mission. He basically muscles his way into the mission because a U.S. senator, or no, the secretary is basically, it seems like his intentions are good because it's like, we need a guy like this. They have guys like this. We need a guy like this. But really what it is, he's just setting him up.
Like, this guy's angry. We need him.
He knows he can do this reckless things because what he's trying to do is dead American soldiers in Russia where they get caught, ambushed. The plan is for them to fucking die. And then as they died over here, that would create, because in the news, all this shit is being leaked to the news. And you realize, wow, how is this out in public? Wouldn't the government cover this up? No, they're trying to start some shit. Anyways, they're on a commercial flight, a fake commercial flight, because they got all their military equipment. And this was another cool scene. Fucking jet comes in, they're invading airspace. If we think you're a hostile threat, we're gonna shoot you down. And I guess maybe it's the pilot looking in there, and he bugs out. And when a fucking jet fighter, takes off like that, you're like, and
we're gonna die.
You're in a commercial airline, and you're like, we're fucked.
Evasive? What do you mean evasive maneuvers?
On a commercial airline.
And you get that target lock, and the fucking missile comes in, breaks the wing off, and fucking, hey man, we're going for a swim. It's and this is great. This is all really good stuff.
I gotta get the gear.
Yeah, Because he wants to do this fucking mission badly. So he goes underwater, and great effects, great underwater scene. Must have trained for that, and gets the boat. It's a little inflatable boat. Attaches them to some life rafts so that he's got his equipment, he's got his boat. His team manages to say, but here's the one thing that didn't make sense to me. Like if the whole plan was to just start the war and have dead American soldiers on their soil. Well, I mean, the plane exploded. Like, did you expect them to make it out of the plane? I guess the
There's no
Americans
bodies.
didn't expect the
They need the
Russians to be
bodies.
so aggressive. Exactly. They need the bodies on Russian soil, not in the middle of a water somewhere, right? So their plan would kind of get fucked by that Russian jet. If they didn't survive.
Even if they do blow up, they're going to fish out and see that it's a bunch of special forces with guns and a rubber boat and rubber suits. Like, this looks like an invasion, fake manifest, and all those other things. So
sure, they could have plan B is we do that, but plan A is what they did, was they actually end up on the soil, and they're going to take this dude out, this final fourth guy, and John Kelly, he's unhinged, and he actually locks his team out once he finds the guy. They're, don't do it, John! He's going to go over there and just get his fucking revenge.
and kill him instead of
Do it,
extracting him.
John.
Yeah, and but he's like, he knows his name, he knows everything about him. He's talking to him as he's entering the apartment, looking for him. And he realizes he's got a fucking bomb. He works for the CIA, and he's like gun-ho about this whole plan. And he's like, we're just pawns. And one of the best lines from the film is when he says that pawn, he's like, what does he say? I'll show them what a pawn will do to a king. And later on they realize, well, yeah, nothing.
Yeah, you were both pawns.
You're both pawns
We're
here.
over here playing checkers. These motherfuckers playing chess.
Yeah, true. And so he blows the fucking building. We get a great action scene of just, chaos. Snipers have been hired to fucking take them out, and they're just like trying to figure out where they are, fight back. Just good stuff. And obviously it was a setup, and they realized that, and they managed to get out of it because John Kelly, being the badass that he is, he's like, you need to get out of here. I don't want what they want, which is for y'all to die and have your bodies here. So they managed to escape, and I actually buy it in the chaos that because he's like fucking, throwing grenades and doing automatic weapons, and of course you're gonna be fired, so you don't give a fuck about some random car. You would think that, oh shit, we're out here in an urban area.
You don't know how many people are up there.
It could just be a civilian. Like, I'm getting the fuck out of here, right? So they actually are able to exit, and I'm like, well, he's gonna die. He's like fucking trapped, but he does some clever shit.
Here's where I was kind of conflicted. I was like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, John. These are like people just trying to do their jobs. Just trying to take this guy is a threat to our
It's
homeland.
never addressed that they are police officers.
Yeah, they're just trying to do their job. They got family. This motherfucker's killing everyone, blowing them up. I'm like,
But at that point,
oh,
there's nothing
shit.
you could fucking do,
I
Joe.
thought John was just gonna be like distract them, throw some
It's
smoke
for the greater
grenades.
good.
But he's launching hand grenades, blowing people up.
Yeah.
They're not going home to their families.
No, they're
So it's
not
like
going home.
that's not
I
distraction.
think he was trying to throw the grenades at empty cars.
Oh no!
But they're shrapnel from grenades. But
He's
he does
shooting
kill
people a
yes,
lot.
He does.
He
And
kills a
you're,
lot of people.
you're like, poor Russians. I understand, Joe. Joe's like, but what about these Russian
that
guys?
ain't going home.
But I guess maybe, Joe, this is a novel from the 90s or 80s. They're like, fuck the Russians. Who cares?
Russia wasn't in the first book.
Right. But no, I'm with you.
That's just like-
You're like, what the fuck?
You're distraction.
You're killing these people
That's
who are
not
innocent.
distraction.
But I look at it as it was a fucked up situation. It's
There would have
either
been
you or me.
World War III, or you kill a couple cops is probably how he's looking at it. Also, he's crazy. So
Yeah, he's crazy. No, that's a good point. He's crazy.
Yes, he's
World War
crazy.
III, he has to kill a couple cops.
I'm just saying. That's why I was like, holy shit, man.
Because if he doesn't do that, Joe, then they get what they want.
But yeah, he could like shoot around them, like, oh, follow me this way. I'm going this way.
True. If
like,
they're
no.
making shit up, right? If they're deviating from the books,
can't
they
feel
can
my legs.
they can do what you want, Joe. Suddenly he brings out fucking airsoft guns instead, right? All right, paintball guns, but no, he does end up killing a few innocent people. Well, no, innocent
like,
people.
no, what, no,
yeah,
they are
they're
innocent.
Yeah, they're like, there's a terrorist
There's
in
a little
Russia.
more than
We
a
have
few.
to take
There's
him down.
a couple dozen, you know.
Yeah. So, but he does manage to get out there in very clever
Yeah,
ways.
he does.
You know, he uses some explosives. You know, takes advantage of the chaos. Gas masks from one of the Russians and just wears their uniform and exits. And I buy that again.
Yeah.
Great realistic sort of scenario where it doesn't break my suspension of disbelief. Which the film does a good job of trying to do that. I mean, a few times it falters, but for the most part, it maintained that. Goes back to the United States, and that's when we learned that it was, you know, that secretary, right? He's all got the guards. He's watching the fucking news, and he's eating his nice little fucking dinner. Goes into the bathroom, and I'm like, oh, John is gonna fuck him up, but the implication is John actually trusted him. You know, he's like, that guy. Because I remember when he's like, no, that's exactly the attitude I need. I think he's fit for this mission. And John took that as, wow, man. Like,
Someone's got faith
you're in
in
my
me.
fucking corner, dude. I love you. And so he comes back with that love. He's like, hey, man, the mission and this and that. He might have a little bit of doubt, but I think he's all in. But, you know, when he's explaining, you know, and he's talking to him, he's realizing, wait a minute, the guy just tried to pin it
I
on.
thought he knew. Right
You think
away.
he knew?
I think
Yeah.
he knew.
Okay, well, I think he knew, and he was just getting the guy to.
He's a great actor. He fooled you.
Ooh, got me, right? Well, it's like there could be nobody else that did it except for maybe that there's another person in the room, the director of the CIA. So he I don't know if he knows that she's clean or whatever, so. But it was clever because he manages to suss out that is the motherfucker because he's trying to implicate everybody
That
else.
wasn't in the report. He's like, this guy blew himself up. He's like, yeah, he blew himself up. It's like, that wasn't in the report. The
Gotcha,
only way
bitch.
you would have known is if you
Immediately
Yeah.
puts him in a fucking chokehold.
Sleep, yeah.
And I was like,
And
there-
here's
yeah,
the
you
part that
got
I
him.
kind of wanted. I was like, oh, the tension has risen because the entire, like, his whole bodyguards are right outside. How is he gonna escape? What is he gonna do?
Yeah,
And
pull
then
him
it just
out
that,
through a window. That shit is not important, Joe. I buy it that
I
he was
agree
able
with
to
you,
do-
there's there's a window. There's always a magic
There's
window.
How
always
did
a
Joe?
magic
How did he
window.
fucking get in the bathroom then?
that would have been nice.
He
to
came up
see.
through
Is
the
No,
that
you
what
know,
it
I
was?
don't need to see.
He's a
every
Navy SEAL. He went
goddamn
through the pipes.
the pipes.
thing. Came up through the toilet. You didn't know
It's
they
like
could
somebody's
do
gonna
that.
sneak up. He's gonna karate chop
Nail it.
somebody. He's like,
Yeah.
go out there, guns blazing. They'll be like,
Anyways,
sweet.
gets him into a
already
car
killed a lot of
and
people.
he's like, talking to him. You kill why my family killed my family, and he's like, by the way, look at where we're going. You have a little farm out there in Virginia with your daughter, your son, your wife. And I'm going to make you watch me kill them, because you basically killed my family. And I'm like, yeah, go do it.
Do it.
do it. Fuck this guy. Fuck this, secretary dude. And he's like, I'm going to make you say, my wife's name before you die. And so the dude, but he turns, crazily and jumps off a bridge and into the water. And he's like, say her name. And he's like, no, let me out. And so he basically gets her to scream, the name over and over and over. And I was like, oh, that's fucking badass. That's that badass move. And then he just kind of sits there and does nothing, And it's like, well, you should have known that he wasn't going to do shit anyway. But, he's in there. And you get this moment where it's like, John Kelly is done. He doesn't need to go anywhere. So he's just sitting there peacefully. He's like, I got my revenge. And it could end there. But it's shown that it does. Number one, he can hold his breath
For
a
like
lot
3
longer
minutes.
Forever.
than a fucking secretary.
Yeah.
Because when you're going through that Navy SEAL training, you see all this realistic and taking that into account. That's the Tom Clancy juice that you got there. I don't know how long they can hold their breath these days.
It's minutes.
5 minutes.
No, I don't know that long.
something.
It's a long time.
It's 3 minutes. I think
I can
it's
go
3.
like 20 seconds maybe, and they're just like, yeah, I'm on minute 7. It's like, you're not human.
No.
Yeah. But eventually, what happens?
He's admitted. So the Secretary of Defense is admitted. He's like, look, I'm trying to start this war. This is why we're doing these things. You got to let me out. You don't understand. It's really important. And then he's got this weird dream sequence where he's like, well, am I in heaven? And she's like, and then his wife is there. They're at a campfire, and she's like, well, no, I'm always with you. And he's like, not always. And then his eyes open, and the SEALs are down there with him, and they give him scuba gear, and then they escape. So
Faked his death.
he's faked his death.
2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes is what they do.
2 minutes. I mean, that's where they want you to be at. 2 minutes.
Okay.
So I'm sure there's maybe a freak of nature who can go a little
even
more.
longer
Oh,
than
for
that.
sure.
It's too damn long. And so he's faked his death. He's officially dead, and he's become like this ghost for them.
Ghost.
It's bare minimum 2 minutes, but some people have said Tom Cruise held his breath underwater for 6 minutes.
Well, that's because he's got no thetans in his body anymore. And the thetans are what makes us not be
That's
able to
true.
hold our breath very long.
Hey!
Yeah.
That shit is not free. You need to be charging people $100,000 in
yeah, 'cause
Scientology
there was
to
an
learn
alien
that
and a
level.
volcano and a nuke.
Where
Never mind.
are we going?
Back to the movie. So he's faked his
Jack, hey, that is the movie. Didn't he play one of the Jack?
Yes, he did.
No,
Or
that
he's
was
Jack
Jack
Reacher.
Reacher, not
Those
Jack.
movies aren't bad
Jack
either.
Ryan, Jack Reacher,
Oh, Jack
John
Reacher.
Yeah.
Clark. Okay.
And so he's faked his death. They give him a new identity. He is now no longer John Kelly.
John
He's
Clark.
John Clark. And then the movie ends.
Don't be a
Yeah.
stranger.
Exactly. Maybe
Walks
they're,
away.
and then this is gonna lead. But it should have led into fucking Rainbow Six. And I just feel like, why? Why does he want to live anymore? He's got nothing to live for. It would have been perfect ending. No, I did it. You're fucking dead.
But then they can
I'm
make
dead.
Rainbow Six. He signed up for a 2-movie deal.
I know. Well, then
he got-
fucking
he
set
has
up
to go to the
Rainbow Six.
top.
Yeah.
Set up Rainbow Six. Anyway, so that is, in a nutshell, the not in a
Without
nutshell. That was a whole
remorse.
fucking film. Yeah, exactly. Without remorse. So good action film, I think. Could have been better. Maybe it sets up that better one in Rainbow Six. We shall see. Maybe with the pandemic delays and stuff, and maybe reception from this one, they could do a little script doctoring on that one and maybe improve it. Unless they've already filmed it, right? Because they have.
This one was delayed a long
this one
time,
delayed-
so-
was a long time, yeah.
2 years, is it?
So we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, that's it, guys. Thank y'all so much. Just thought y'all might be interested in if you want some military movies to watch. We're over
Check
here
it
waiting
out.
for Apex Season 9 and Battlefield announcements and
It's May
stuff.
4th.
And getting hyped on some of the military.
Resident Evil soon.
Yeah. Well, I was
That's right.
military theme. I don't
There's
know.
guns in Resident
There's
Evil.
guns.
Sure, yeah.
There's mercenaries,
Chris
the whole
Redfield,
might
stuff
be.
like- and Umbrella and shit. That's true. I did use this in my Umbrella Corps review. So. Anyways, guys, thank y'all so much for watching. And again, if you want to support our show, why not pick up some cool ass merch like these new shirts that we got?
Browse around. We
Join
got
the
some
Angry
other
Army
ones.
First Division here. And we got, Joe's got one there. And did you know that being angry is half the battle? Gotta be angry.
Now you know. Knowing is that
It's knowing and angry.
Yeah, that's all you need. All right, guys.
Revenge
Thank y'all.
plots.
Thank y'all so much. We'll see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys.